Welcome to the live stream video podcast, Issues Matter. Hosted by Pastor Aaron Phillips. Each week, Pastor Phillips will focus on timely issues, which affect the lives of citizens of the neighborhoods of the greater Cleveland area. This is a live broadcast, so Pastor Phillips encourages viewers to call in and participate in discussions. Your input and points of view are important, as we attempt to dig as deep as possible into those issues that play a role in our daily lives. So, without further ado, here is your host, our fearless leader, Pastor Aaron Phillips.
Another crazy resolution got introduced, and that's House Joint Resolution number 2.
Okay.
So House Joint Resolution number 2 was basically saying, hey, we realize that you guys have figured out how to play the game. Y'all have figured out how to rally people out there to get people to vote for stuff. We have figured out that you know how to pass citizen-led amendments, no matter if it's the casinos or increasing the minimum wage. So we're going to change the goalposts. So the current goalpost right now is that you have to have 50% plus 1 to pass any constitutional amendment.
Okay.
I, as an elected official, have to get at least 50% plus 1 to win an election in the general. That's it.
Okay.
So if that's my standard to get elected, why wouldn't that be the same standard for the Constitution? Exactly. So with this one, now is it not only not going to be 50% plus 1, it has to be 60% threshold for it to happen. And on top of that, currently if you want to get a citizen-led amendment, you have to have signatures from 44 counties. And for those at home who do not know, there's 88 counties in the state of Ohio. Some of these counties have like 2,000 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having to get 5% of counties that only have 2,000 people.
Right.
So they're changing the goalposts.
Right.
You gotta get a higher threshold, and then it also has to get more signatures just to put it on the ballot. And so every time we learn the game, we figure out the rules, and we can organize our people, the goalposts change.
Right.
So SJR2 was a Senate Joint Resolution number 2, was passed in the Senate first, then it came over to the House, and then it passed over in the House. Very bipartisan, partisan lines. And this is a Republican-led effort to hold us back.
Now what I don't understand, and I pride myself in understanding this, and if it passed in the state legislature, what's it doing on the ballot in all this?
Because it's a constitutional change. So it's much to change our constitution. Anytime we at the State House want to change the Constitution, we have to take it to the voters. So now it's in the people's hand to decide do they want to add more guardrails to this.
But wait a minute. So wouldn't this qualify for a special election?
It would.
So how are they getting around that?
So we have added, in the process of trying to do the Senate Joint Resolution number 2, there was another bill where the special election was added. So we had a really good deal. Yes.
You're blowing my mind.
We had my colleague who stood on the floor of the House and said special elections are a waste of money. So before we answer this next question, guess how much it's costing for the special election?
I think it's got to be $4 million.
It's too low.
Too low?
Too low.
$4 million is too low?
It's too low. We're talking about big money.
$20 million?
We're at $20 million.
No.
So $20 million
Jesus.
for one day, for one issue on the ballot, so people can...
These are the Republicans?
These are Republicans.
These are the Republicans that I know.
This is not no John McCain Republican.
No, they're not. What happened to those conservative guys?
I think they're in the corner somewhere. They might be low-key Democrats by this time. Right now. But they've changed the rules. They've changed the rules. So now we have a $20 million election on our hands. Guess how much the state has decided to pay for it?
What do you mean?
So,
What do you mean?
The elections cost, what do you mean, what do you mean? Elections cost money, where do you think this, how do you think, who's gonna pay for it?
The state don't pay for it.
No, we don't pay for it.
Well, just taxpayer money to raise the tax or something, but yeah, the state has to.
Okay, so since you living in a false reality.
I must be. Get me out of this matrix.
I'm helping you out.
Get me out of this matrix.
I'm out the matrix.
Yeah.
Reel you into reality. So the state's gonna pay 15, the rest of the counties have to pay the $5 million. same county that has never budgeted to have a special election out of nowhere.
So every county?
Every county has to contribute toward that 5 million.
And how is that divided? Is it divided
It's
equally?
off of the amount of people. So that's just
How
the
much?
biggest share. Cobb County.
Oh, that's good.
And a
Oh,
little
that's
$1
dirty.
million.
That's some dirty politics right there. That's some dirty, low down, but smart. So dirty with low down
And
politics.
so you know where that money is taken away from. The money
Yep.
that's going to our divergence center, that could go for
Yep.
that. The money that could be going to our kids that are in foster
Yep,
care.
there you go.
The need for
Teach.
information for housing, so many different things, or
That's
social
right.
services. We're having to use it towards.
Money for bus passes. I done got
Yes.
people who need bus passes for work all the time, and they don't. They used to be free. You go down there and qualify. If you don't have that 5, you ain't riding. I'll tell you what. Were you a teacher in another life?
I feel like we are all schooling each other.
Well, I'll tell you what. You are doing a great job of teaching tonight, young lady. You're doing a fantastic job. I just can't believe. Well, I can believe it because they're low down. It's just not right. And and what really gets me, how did they get to put it in August? What gave them the right to do that? I mean, really what I'm saying, there was nobody to challenge what they were doing. Nobody went to the Supreme Court and said this isn't right.
So it was people, concerned
Okay.
citizens like ourselves here in Cleveland who went to the Supreme Court. And
Okay.
when you don't have the numbers on your side because elections do matter, things like this happen. So now we're sitting here with a $20 million price tag, $20 million that could have went to our roads and bridges, $20 million that could have went to public transit that's not equitably funded. Let's not even get started on public transit.
That's right.
So $20 million that could have gone to the diversion services or the food bank that we
Right.
desperately need,
Right.
or services for our senior citizens, or
That's
for our
right.
veterans, or mental health services,
That's right.
or for back in the police that people love to say they love and care so much about, or the
Absolutely.
local government fund which pays for the police and fire and your roads and bridges locally. And so we have to just think about, this is money that's taken away from all of our pockets. And it's basically telling us, the State House is telling us, the Ohioans do not feel seen when it comes to state money being spent.
Wow. That's true. That's true. I am so glad that you are leading this effort. I have learned so much just from listening to you. And I knew a little bit about it, but I'm going to say, boy, she really knocked the ball out to the park right there. You did fantastic. And we'll take a moment because I think somebody called me, and maybe are we connected good? I know we are listeners. Sometimes they'll call and say, so somebody may call and say something's wrong with the feed. So why don't you guys give us a select? This is the Sure House Band. They're every Sunday and every time we podcast. The good thing about podcasts is it's going to keep on running, keep on running, keep on running. We're live now, but it's going to run forever. And so we'll be able to post this and let folks know there is an election next with August the 8th of this year. Go ahead and play something. them another hand, aren't they fantastic? We have some literature here, and is there a number for people to call? How can we get engaged? Is there some effort that's going to be on election day for poll workers?
Yes.
Tell us how we can, what do we need to, hit your arm, let's get this started together.
This is that everybody concerned. Everybody should be concerned about this. If you've ever been concerned about your wage is not where it should be, if you're concerned about livable wage, if you're concerned about the ratio of nurses to patients, you should be involved. If you're concerned about your health care, you should be involved. If you're concerned about public access to public transit, you should be concerned. If you're concerned about reproductive justice, you should be concerned. If you're concerned about criminal justice, this is an everybody problem.
Yeah.
If you are trying to find materials that Pastor Phillips has in his hand, please come to 3615 Superior Avenue. We're right there at the corner. There's a bunch of blue signs. It's the Cobb County Democratic Party. We're not even going to ask you your party affiliation. It's a walk around for us. All we do is ask you, would you like some water? Would you like some pop? Would you like some coffee? And how do you want to come serve? Just the same way this church is.
That's
No
right.
no questions.
That's right.
We just want you to come participate. And so we are looking for people to do postcards, come do canvassing, come make phone calls, or just come get a yard sign. Like, we need people involved because this is an everybody problem, and nobody is coming to save us.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's right.
And if people will disenfranchise and change the goal mark every time they feel like we understood what's going on,
Right.
then they will continue to do that every time something comes on. It's interesting because I was talking to a gentleman who's trying to change the ratio, the nurses to patient ratio. He lives in Maple Heights. Really nice to come in. He's trying to introduce something called Carolyn's Law.
Right.
And
Yeah.
really
right.
nice guy. He's trying to put it on the ballot.
Yes, I'm with him. I signed it.
Exactly. So am I. And so if we're thinking about all of us, maybe one day might need to be in a nursing home.
That's right.
Wouldn't you want to have good nursing to patient ratio?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No different than everybody in this state deserves criminal justice. We want criminal justice reform. That's going to need to be on the ballot. Redistricting. Because of redistricting, literally, I have a district where the district is wrapped around my house like a box. Literally.
Right.
My neighbors 4 doors down from me are in a different district, and the neighbors on the other side of me 8 doors down are in a different district.
Wow.
Extreme gerrymandering.
Yes.
That could be on the ballot.
Yes.
You can talk about the use of cannabis. If you're concerned about cannabis here in our state, that's going to be on the ballot in November. Whatever your issue is, whatever your why, you need to make sure you come out and vote no. Because this is an everybody problem and nobody's coming to save us. Somebody asked me today, they said, well, why are people having to pay for yard signs? No one's coming to save us. We're going to have to put some skin in the game. And if you can't afford a sign, then do what I used to do back in the day. Go to the dollar store, get you a white piece of paper, and draw no on issue 1. And make something shake. But we are going to have to figure this out together because no one's coming to save us. We are the cavalry.
Yes, well said, well said. Do we have some folks here, you want to ask a question, you may, there's a microphone in WBeyond. If anybody, I want to, okay, I think we covered it. Now, tell us what hours can we come to the,
You can come from 10 to 5, Monday through Friday, at 3615 Superior Avenue.
okay?
If there's going to be a bridge right next to Yonder's, if you know where Yonder's is, it's some good black-owned food restaurant. Is right on the other side of the bridge, so you can go get you some food from Yonder, shameless plug for them. Come past the bridge and then come over to the Cobb County Democratic Party.
Yes, it's a great place, been there several times, I'm always going there eating their food and that stuff. Come on, Ann, you can ask a question or make a comment.
What's the days and the hours that it's open?
So Monday through Friday from 10 to 5,
Okay.
10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
For no weekends.
So we sometimes are there on the weekends, but I don't want to put that time out because we are there a lot of times on Saturday. Never really there on Sundays, but we're definitely here on Saturday.
Okay, fantastic. And thank you for all your service that you're doing. Now, what about election day? Are we gonna have troops on the ground
We
at
definitely
the
have
polls?
to have people there on the polls. But I would tell people, there's no point in having people on the polls if we didn't do the work in advance of the election. Because there's nobody that's gonna be at the polls if we didn't do the work of canvassing, phone calling,
Yeah.
making text messaging, and passing out literature in advance. There's a lot of people who tell me all the time, they said, Reb, we want to get paid for being at the polls. And I said, there's no point in investing into that if we are not getting the people out of their home there first. So let's start off with the basic stuff, and that's knocking on doors. Let's make sure we start with the basic stuff and buying these yard signs. Let's start off with the basic stuff and making these phone calls. So we can know that if we are investing into your community, we also know that people are gonna show up to the polls, and that's where we're gonna have people working at the polls, where we make those investments.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for your service and your work. I would really like people to know when somebody says you are authentic in what you're doing. I tell folks, I can do what I can do, and I'm pretty good at it for myself. But if you're asking Ray and Pookie and them who have no jobs, who are desperate who need stuff, I can't get them without putting some money in their hands. And I'm good at that when you give me the money. And you can only do so much without money.
I agree.
I wish we could give you a boatload, and you can do some damage. I'm telling you, and that's what I'm promoting. I really appreciate your authenticity, and I've never seen this. I have to say, I've had you on a radio show a couple. You have a real clear authenticity that and glow about you today. I've never seen, and I'm telling you, that's the anointing God on you. That's really what that is. And I will tell you, you are glowing, and we need to support you the way they supported the lady in Georgia. What's her name? Was it Abrams? Stacey Abrams. You could be our Stacey Abrams, ma'am. And they need to put more money. And that's what's wrong. That's why I can't stand. Me and Angela have this conversation all the time. That's why I can't stand about the Democrats with the Republicans. They will put money in BS. They put money in this. Do you know, I know black people who have, I know some black people who have been paid to support issue 1. They're telling our people, say yes. And they're giving the money. That is a hard thing to fight. You can't fight this. Money is a tool. It's not evil. The love of money is evil. It's a tool. And we have people on our side who have the tools, and they need to unleash that to us. Because just because we have black and brown skin, don't mean that you can't trust us with money.
That's the truth. All skin folks ain't you can folks.
Absolutely. I'm telling you. And I am so, I'll tell you, thank God for you. And that's why we need to have real serious discussion. It costs money to be in this building. I was paying these guys. I love them, they love me. But they definitely love the world. And I don't mind, because they're worth it.
And I do believe there's a value of making sure that people are okay, because we got to understand this thing of just meeting people where they're at. Because we want people to serve, but you don't want people serving, they're hungry. You don't want people serving and they don't have a way to get there.
But let me tell you, it even goes further than that. I've seen it happen. And to tell you, we have won fights that we weren't supposed to win. You know why? Because we're paying Pookie, but Pookie going to get his other people. Man, come on, this is my job. You got to help me with my job. And the people he going to get, he ain't got to pay them, but he's so excited he getting them. We have seen it work. We have beat people that was supposed to win because we went and got them. They had to come up with a whole new strategy. Okay, we got to put somebody else in the race. But they're going to keep on doing that. That's how they got it. You got what I'm saying? But you got it. Money is a tool. I mean, listen, the dope man knows that. That's how you get the boys off the corner. There's no secret. We're not giving away the family secrets here. It's just the truth.
And if our minimum wage was a livable wage, then it would be so easy to get people out in the streets.
Absolutely.
And so we just have to think of a bigger picture of what's all at stake.
Absolutely.
It's telling our community we've learned the rules, but because we learned the rules, they didn't change the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I have an old auntie. This is what she told me. She said, baby, I said, man, one day they changed the rules on me. She said, no, baby, this is what happened. You think you play football, and you show up with your football uniform, helmet and shoulder pad and cleats, and they got on basketball clothes. They don't change the whole game. They ain't changing. They don't just switch the whole game on you. But that's what happened. But that shows really how powerful that we really. I think sometimes we don't really understand the power that we really have. But they fight it. That's why they always put these rules. Sometimes we think we know.
I've seen it in my own family. It's a picture of my grandmother here come down to this office. It's a picture of her processing in front of Coca-Cola. And as much as we love to drink our pop, she posted back there in the 50s about how they were not properly treating black people that were employed. And it's not to make this about Coca-Cola, but we've been fighting, we've been organizing. I think just for a second in time, we forgot the importance of continuing to do that.
Yes.
We got lax, and we felt like, well, we didn't made it enough. Pookie didn't bought a house now, he ain't got to be on the street no more. But it's still a little ray that's still out there. So it's still more of us that still need to be out there, still advocating, still organizing. You never stop organizing.
Come on.
You never stop organizing, no matter how far you think you got. You never stop organizing. And I think these moments of losing affirmative action, of issue 1 trying to pass, and us not be able to have real police reform within our community is letting us know you never stop organizing. There's always something to fight for, not just against.
All right, let's transition to our next guest. Ms. Angela Davis, I don't know how you're going to follow that. But thank you. That was fantastic. We're going to keep on posting that over and over and over again. That was well said. And she has to come to church one Sunday and say that. And I didn't know that was your church home.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I'm coaching.
That's good.
I'm a Baptist people. I'm coaching.
Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Aaron Phillips, Executive Director of the Cleveland Clergy Coalition and the Senior Pastor of Strauss Baptist Church. You just got through watching the 30-minute interview that I had with State Representative Juanita Brent, who's also the Vice Chairman of the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party. She was on last week, and what she was talking about was so important. I thought it was relevant for us to make sure that we replay that again. So I wanted to talk to you about making sure that we are getting out to vote this August 8th. Not only do we personally need to go vote, but we need to take at least 10 people with us down to the polls and vote no on issue 1. Issue 1 isn't a Democratic or Republican issue. It's an issue about democracy, and we all need to believe in the democracy we have. Right now, if issue 1 passed, we would require a 60+ majority rule instead of 50+. That is not democracy, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what they want to do, is take democracy out of our hands. So we got to make sure we are getting out to vote. Early voting has already began. We're thinking about doing so to the polls, but we're telling all the clergy and everybody, lottie-dottie to everybody, to make sure we get out to vote this August 8th, 2023, to vote no on issue 1. Yeah, I know it's August, it is hot. Nobody's thinking about an election. We're barely thinking about getting back in the groove of things, getting our kids back to school. But that's exactly why they haven't had it, this election slated for August the 8th. This is so important that the Cleveland Clergy Coalition has joined forces again with the United Pastor Mission and the Baptist Ministers Conference, the Baptist Pastors Council, the Pilgrim Night Conference, the East Cleveland Concerned Pastors. All of the clergy are coming together tomorrow at Antioch Baptist Church and on Cedar Avenue, and we're going to have a press conference encouraging our community to come out and vote no on issue 1. This is a time that we have to put all of our personal issues aside and stand up and vote no on issue 1. Now, this is so important and critical. We're going to make sure that we post this podcast over and over again. Especially, I like the part that State Representative Juanita Brent said last week when she said that we always have to be organizing. We always have to be fighting. The struggle continues, and we are born at the right time. I was just telling someone the other day, I used to think that because I was born in 1966, that used to be a young age, but now it's old. But I used to believe that I was born at the wrong time. But now that I know, now that we see where we are today in these views, we are all born at such a time as this, and we have to stand up and fight for our rights. Have you noticed our civil rights are already been dialed back? They have gotten rid of affirmative action with the Trump court. They've gotten rid of the women's right to choose life because of the Trump court. We have to stay engaged. So all of the people, you remember, who you voted for or didn't vote at all in 2016, we are seeing the results. Let me help everyone understand. This is a long game. I know 2016 was a long time ago, and we've seen a lot of things come and go, but elections matter because these policies are now being implemented because Donald Trump won in 2016 when he shouldn't have. He didn't even believe he was going to win. And thank God he was trying to steal the election in 2020, and they didn't allow that to happen. So we got to make sure that we're staying on the battlefield, not only for the Lord, but for our community, which is also the Lord's work. You know, I am strongly committed in the institutions that we have in our community, chiefly the Black church. I'm very committed to the institution of the Black church, and because the Black church has always been on the forefront of making our community better. Every civil rights organization was organized from and through the Black church. The Black church is still relevant right now. I know a lot of people enjoy the praising and the singing and sometimes the entertainment of the church, and that's great. I am a preacher. I love to go to church. I love to praise, but we also have work to do, and we have to be organized. And the best organization that we have, you all, is the Black church. The only institution that we as Black people, all of us, we run. We don't have anybody behind the scenes running our business for us. We all are running that together. So we have to continue to protect the interests of our community through the Black church. That's why we're telling every pastor, please come and join us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Now, if you want to come at 10, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we're going to be having a very candid conversation with Dr. Otis Moss and Dr. E.T. Cavers, two of the legends and heroes of the Cleveland community. And they're going to continue to lead and talk to us pastors, new pastors who have come to our community, and we're welcoming them, as well as pastors like myself who have been here for the last 20 years and still vibrant and want to continue to work and engage in our community. We are coming together generationally. We're coming together interdenominationally. We're coming together whether we're men in ministry or women in ministry. We're all coming together to fight this fight of faith and stand up for what's in the best interest of our community. Also, there's a couple other announcements I want you to know that the church community is strongly involved in and engaged in. This coming Sunday at Temple Baptist Church in East Cleveland on what is that? Right there on the corner of Euclid. Temple Baptist Church will be on Noble Road. We'll be having Community Day. I'll be there with him from the Cleveland Clergy Coalition and the Sure House Baptist Church. My dear friend, Reverend Dr. Cedric Veal, is hosting a great event for the entire community, not just for the East Cleveland community, for the greater Cleveland community. We're going to be there all day. We're going to be passing out book bags. These are real, very nice book bags. We're going to have hot dogs and hamburgers, all kind of food. There's going to be line dancing. There's going to be music. We're going to have a great time. There's going to be bouncy houses for the kids. And we're just going to have a good time in community and bringing the entire community together and just enjoying each other as we love to do, and enjoy each other and have a great time. This coming Sunday, that's July 23rd at Temple Baptist Church on Noble Road. Meet me there. It starts at noon. You can go at 11 o'clock for their regular worship service and then come right outside. Of course, dress casually. I'll be there. We'll be there, the Sure House Baptist Church members, as well as we'll have some information about the job program that we provide, the coalition. We'll also have information about our church. All churches are welcome to come and join in. You can pass out and distribute information about your congregation, because we know people like to have a variety of churches to go to. So if you like to go to a large church like Temple, that is there on the menu for you. Or if you want to come to an intimate church like Sure House, that's on the menu as well. So we want to invite you to come and join us this coming Sunday from noon to about 4. It's Community Day. You don't want to miss that. We've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years. It's always been a fantastic time and showing. Last year, we even had police officers line dancing and right there with us. So you don't want to miss this. There's great information we'll be giving out to you about all kinds of things that's happening in our community. You just don't want to miss this event. That's this coming Sunday at 12 o'clock noon, the Noble Road, Temple Baptist Church. If you have more information, you can give me a call. You know my number, 216-889-7844. There's a lot of things that are happening in our community as we are getting organized and getting ready. 2024 is coming up, and we got to get ready for that election right now. And so we want to continue to work together, strive together, and let's remember the words of our state representative, vice chair of the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party, Juanita Brent. By the way, Sister Brent, you did a fantastic job, State Representative Brent. I've been shouting your praises everywhere I could go. And we really appreciate what she said. We got to keep on fighting together, and we can't wait. And one of the other things she said, but we always say this, we can't wait for anybody to save us. We have to save ourselves. Superman is not coming. We have to be the change that we want to see. So thank God for you, State Representative Juanita Brent, for leading the fight to say no against issue 1. I have seen some commercials, and that's good. But we also need our grassroots effort to put boots on the ground, and then we got to knock on doors and make telephone calls and do what we have to do to make announcements in our churches across this community. Every week I'm going to be podcasting, and every time I'm on the podcast, I'm going to talk about making sure we say no to issue 1. I did get an article that Reverend Dr. E.T. Cabinets wrote, and it's going to be in this week's Call and Post. He sent it to me, and it's a fantastic article about why we should say no to issue 1. So we're doing all that we can with the limited resources we have to make sure we get the message out to our community to let people know, vote no on issue 1. Okay, now we want you to continue to be a part of these podcasts and all the work that we're doing, the Cleveland Clergy Coalition, and all the work that we're doing at our church, the Shrouds Baptist Church. We want to welcome you, and if you want to engage us, you can always reach out to me. Again, my telephone number is 216-889-7844. You can also email me at surehousepastor.com, surehousepastor.com. Yahoo.com, surehousepastor@yahoo.com, surehousepastor@yahoo.com. You can always email me if you have any questions or concern. So you have some issues you want to make sure that we highlight on our podcast every week. We'll be glad to do that and talk to you about it. We're planning, we have some future podcasts coming up. We're organizing the podcast to meet with all of the African-American mayors in the suburbs here in Cuyahoga County. That will be our next podcast, and we're going to let you know our next live podcast at our church. That's what we're planning on for in the real near future. So thank you for tuning in this week, and make sure that we are continuing to support and say no on issue 1. Thank you again to State Representative Juanita Brent. You did a fantastic job last week, and it was so good. We had to replay you again this week. Continue to keep up the good work, and God bless you. We love you. This is Pastor Aaron Phillips, Cleveland Clergy Coalition, and Senior Pastor at Shrouds Baptist Church. God bless you, love you, and talk to you again.
This has been the live video podcast, Issues Matter, hosted by Pastor Aaron Phillips. Join us next week as we dig into other issues that affect the lives of everyday citizens of the greater Cleveland area. Until then, stay safe and stay woke.